This video is made in part due to the support of my lovely members. Consider becoming a member today for emotes and member streams. During my recent weekly reset stream, one of my chatters, Nova Umbral, remarked on my usage of Larkspur Prime and how surprised he was that I was using it. If you are not familiar, Nova is a Warframe historian who makes amazing essays on the game. His comment caught me off guard, yet, when I started to think about it, I realized that I rarely saw anyone besides myself use it, or really any heavy weapon in Warframe itself. I knew immediately that I needed to make this video and hopefully convince some of you about using heavy weapons, specifically Larkspur Prime, as something that you should be doing in general play, but also in higher end content as well. Before we get started, consider liking the video and hitting subscribe as well to see any future streams or other videos I make concerning Warframe or other games in general. Released back with the Profit Taker, the ability to wield an arch weapon while in Warframe mode has been somewhat controversial to a couple of people based on the limited mod capacity that they all have. The ability to wield them is also somewhat taxing, as you not only have a limited amount of ammo that comes with each one, but you have a cooldown that lasts for a max of 5 minutes with every single Archgun. It is only cooled down by a couple of very specific Warframes and their abilities. With that being said, the ability to wield them and the power output that they have has thankfully gotten better over the past couple of years, and with the recent addition of some new mods in Whisper in the Wall, I personally feel like heavy weapons should be looked at again, especially by some of the other bigger creators in the game and used in more general play. And today I will be making my case with Larkspur. I'm sure that there's a bunch of other weapons that you can use. However, I am going to be showing off and encouraging you to be using Larkspur in, I would suggest, pretty much every single bit of general play. With Larkspur, not only do I use it for basic things like running relics or doing simple missions like assassinations, defense missions, or survivals, I do it in some of the higher end content as well. Not all of it. I will tell you right now, when it comes to higher end content, it really depends. The way I have my Larkspur built, and I will show it off here in a moment, it is built mostly for taking out Grineer, Infested, and some of the individuals in the Sanctum. However, it only can go so high based off of the limited capacity amount. I do know that that is one reason why people won't use it. However, I do not think that this should discourage you from using it in pretty much every single facet of general play that you can think of. Let me go ahead and show you the mod setup that I have for Larkspur Prime. Now, really quickly, if you don't have Larkspur Prime, you can use the regular Larkspur as well. The Larkspur Prime just has a couple of different changes stat-wise that makes it, in my opinion, better. But anyway, the ammo maximum is definitely the biggest reason why I feel like a lot of people avoid arch weapons as well as Larkspur. I ended up having to give it more ammo capacity here. Let me just open this up and I will jump right over here. And I will go through every single mod, and you are free to suggest some different ones, but I'll go through what I use and why you might want to choose differently. So anyway, I chose ammo chain because without it, having only 400 capacity is very, very short, and without the unique trait of having an extra 300 ammo when wielded by Hildren, which is what I used for a while, it is kind of like rough to have this weapon on there. And so just giving it an ammo maximum, like, that's almost a need for every single arch weapon in the series. Using Prime Libido lined barrel is also, I feel like, pretty much necessary. That extra damage output, very much useful in my personal opinion. Now, one of the new mods that came with Whisper in the Wall that I feel like everybody should put on there, mostly because of the multi-shot, but also the radiation, is Containment Breach. It is a random drop from what I've seen, and it's really, really good. My current output of damage right now is 34,000. Without it, it goes down drastically. It goes drastically, almost 10,000 damage. So it's definitely worth having on there. 100% definitely worth having on there. Along with that, I do also have, obviously, the multi-shot mod, dual rounds. Here, let me move myself here a little bit. I do have dual rounds here. Now, I am going to be completely honest with you. Dual rounds is not easy to get. It is not easy to get. I believe this is one I ended up buying because some of the... And this is an issue with Archgun mods. And Digital Extremes, if you see this video, please include more places to get some of these mods because... it sucks to get some of them. But I will put up on the screen how you get this mod. It is not easy to get. Thankfully, hopefully they change it in the future. If they do... maybe I'll remake this, but dual rounds is not easy to get. As well as I think Sabat rounds. I know that one of these you can get from fighting some of the bosses. Excuse me, you can get it by fighting the Profit Taker. I believe it's either that one or dual rounds. I believe dual rounds is one that you get from doing another mission, but some of these are not easy to get. However, that should not discourage you from trying to use this. Even without dual rounds on here, even without it, if you just got Containment Breach, it does give you some multi-shot. Not a lot, but it's a pretty good introduction to having multi-shot with your weapon. And I'd say when you have the ability to grind it out or pay the platinum for it, I paid like, I think 100 for it. I definitely would get it because it's really good. It's really good. Really, that 34,000 damage is really good. I also have a couple of different status mods here. These are the ones I use. Now, obviously, you can change these ones out based on what you're planning to do, what content you're planning to do. You know, cold, toxin, electricity. Most of this here, I've geared towards Grineer. In fact, in doing Steel Path, and I'll show some clips of that, when I am doing Steel Path, at least up to, I want to say, 120, maybe even 130 in Steel Path, I can do decent with Grineer. It does get to a point where you're using a lot of ammo just to kill a couple of guys. However, I don't feel like that should be, in my opinion, very discouraging to using this in some high-end content. Not all high-end content, but some high-end content. I've also used it for Archon Hunt. Yeah, I've used it for Archon Hunts multiple times. And this thing shreds in Archon Hunts. Legitimately shreds in Archon Hunts. Now, the only mod that I feel like people are gonna be upset with wanting to get is the Larkspur ribbon. Now, thankfully, I didn't pay too much for this. I think I paid under 100 platinum for this because nobody uses the Larkspur in general play, so it's probably not that expensive. But the Larkspur, in my personal opinion, it does suffer from more if you can give it more multi-shot, which is what I did. I also have critical chance, and it has negative fire rate. But that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter because while it does technically have a fire rate, it really doesn't matter because it is a chain damage that will seek out targets and in my personal opinion, having fire rate on this isn't necessarily the biggest issue, but if you want to change, you know, if I were to suggest Riven damages that you want, you're free to suggest other ones for me. You can see that this one's been changed out quite a few times. I would say multi-shot is definitely a big one. Critical chance is probably another good one as well, because if you can get more critical damage on things, you'll do even more, and it makes it even more crazy. And hell, even the damage as well. Look at how much damage this does. It adds so much damage. It's absolutely insane. I absolutely love my Riven for this. And again, it wasn't that expensive because nobody uses it. But maybe now, before the market decides to inflate because of this, you should go ahead and try and get yourself a Larkspur Riven as well. Now I will say, I never ever use the charge. I don't use the charge attack because the charge attack is really good for single target stuff. However, I've never really found it that useful. It is decent. I will give it that. It's a decent ability to have, but I have always really found that the held ability, just holding it down and firing at enemies, tends to do better. it tends to do better in my personal opinion. And I don't know, if you want to use it for charged attacks, go right ahead. But I personally feel like just using this in general play, you know, you've got to kill 120, 130, or maybe 200 enemies. You know, you can just play as Goss, run through, and just mow stuff down with the Larkspur in your hand. And I'll be honest with you, the best part about this weapon, the biggest selling point of this weapon that I will sell to you, is that you don't have to aim at all. I mean, you kind of do. You have to look in the general direction. Like, if there's an enemy on your mini map, you have to look in the general direction of where you're firing. But like beyond that, it just finds them for you. There's no reason for you to, like, you know, do anything else. And it's really good. You know, again, if you can put ammo chain on it, great. You'll have even more. You can also put magazine extension if you really want to. You know, if you want to take off something like cold or toxin damage, and stick on magazine extension so that you have even more of a magazine. That doesn't really help that much in my personal opinion. Excuse me. I feel like all that does is just makes your initial magazine bigger. It's not really going to help out with your ammo max, but if you want to shoot more longer, go right ahead. But yeah, this is, in my personal opinion here, I will move myself again for you. This is what I suggest. This is what I suggest. There's going to be some that you can obviously swap out. However, ammo chain for the ammo. Definitely important for longevity. Rubedo lined barrel or the primed Rubedo lined barrel, whichever one you can get your hands on. I know that Baru jumps back and forth when he has that, and you know, maybe you'll see it one day. Containment breach. This is a free mod that you can basically get by grinding the Sanctum. Very great, very amazing mod that everybody should try and get their hands on just by playing. And dual rounds. Again, it's not easy to get, but you need it. You need it. If you want to do more than general content, you need it. Like, I will say this: if you are just running relics, if you're just doing general content, if you're running through stuff, I will say if you're doing anything on the origin star chart, you don't need this. You don't necessarily need this. That's like 10,000 damage. Yeah, that's 10,000 damage less that you may not need as much. But if you can spend the time to get it, and again, hopefully it's easier to get in the future, it's definitely worth getting, and it's worth it. It's definitely worth it. Other than that, these three here, my personal opinion, you can make whatever you want. If you want electricity, toxin, or cold damage, bam, there you go. Or if you want to, you know, have a bunch of different kinds of crazy things in here, well, there you go. It's all for you. Look at that. Now we've got a bunch of different crazy things on the Archgun, and it can do awesome things. This is also very useful, in my personal opinion, when you want to fight the Profit Taker. And you need multiple different statuses. I'm realizing, let me uncover myself here. Look at that, multiple different statuses. Look at how many statuses are here. Isn't that awesome? That's awesome. But anyway, that's pretty much the mod configuration for it. But and again, I've shown, I hope, a couple of really good clips about why this is great. This is a great tool. I don't know why a lot of people don't use this thing. Again, I have used this weapon a lot. Hell, let me go to my profile here. Let me see. My most used arch weapon with 84%. It's killed 62,000 enemies. It's not a lot, actually. I'm pretty sure Fenmore... No, never mind. This thing has killed a crap ton of things. This thing has killed a crap ton of things. It's even... Wow, it's almost got 1,500 headshots. That's a lot of headshots. That's a lot of accuracy as well. Hold on. Look at those kills. That's a lot of kills. And that's a lot of headshot kills even with this thing, because this thing does not go for the head. It goes for center of mass. So, you know, this is pretty decent. But as you can see, I use this thing a lot. I played this game for a year. I've had Larkspur Prime for, I want to say, 8 or 9 months. Or whenever it came out, whenever Larkspur Prime came out. You can pop that up on the screen there. I've basically had my hands on it. And yeah, this is great. It's a great weapon, and you should use it. At the end of the day, here's my suggestion for you. Larkspur Prime as general use weapons. Alright, just try it out. Alright. Just try it out. Put some general use mods on there. Form it once or twice so that you can get a whole bunch of status weapons, or status mods, excuse me, on there. And use it for a while. Just use it in your general content. Again, the best part about this thing is if you're doing a short mission, let's say that you're going into a capture or you're going into extermination, hell, I'll even throw out defense or survival. If you're doing any of those missions and you've got like 800 ammo on this thing, it will last you most, if not all of the mission if you're conservative with it. And there is a good chance that you'll get more ammo for it during your gameplay. Not guaranteed, but there have been many times, I will say, where I have gone through multiple defense missions, survival missions, and I have never run out of ammo because of just how much I've been able to conserve with it. It is kind of a it's a dance, I guess you could say. But yeah, get one of these two. Thankfully, Larkspur is really easy to get. There's a lot of relics out right now, as of the recording of this video, that have the different parts for the weapon. It's also probably not super duper expensive to buy for platinum. As opposed to regular Larkspur, which is harder to get, because not only do you need to get done with Fortuna and fight the Profit Taker, but you have to rank up with Little Duck a couple times. So this is easier to get your hands on. You still need to do the Profit Taker in order to use it, but this is still easy to get. And I don't know, all of the other weapons are pretty good too. I'm not going to say that none of them are really good, but again, at the end of the day, if you want something that's easy to get going and just run with, hell, even if you want to build it crazy like I do, so that you can run through Archon hunts and just like start slaying. And I'm not going to say that this thing is going to be fantastic for much above like basic hard cap. Get this. Get this weapon. Use this weapon. And play around with it. I hope that's a good point. I hope I have convinced you. If not, please let me know in the comments what you think about why I'm right, why I'm wrong, all that good stuff. I'm always curious to see what you guys think. I appreciate all your comments. I deeply appreciate all the comments from the last video as well. But anyway, that is pretty much it. I absolutely love Larkspur. It's a great weapon. I've used it multiple times. It is basically 9 out of 10 missions. The first thing I will do when I spawn into a mission, especially on solo play, is I will take out the Larkspur because of just how useful it is to use. So I hope that helps. If you are a player that doesn't, or that has access, to this, and you don't use heavy weapons, consider using heavy weapons. And if you don't, consider getting the ability to use heavy weapons. They are making heavy weapons easier to get now because they're lowering the rank up stuff on Fortuna. Eventually, as of the recording of this video, they're going to, I guess, lessen your burden on ranking up. So that's cool. So you should definitely take advantage of that when it happens and get yourself a heavy weapon, because heavy weapons are pretty good. If you can get past the fact that they have low ammo maximum, there it is. If you can get past the low ammo maximum and be conservative with it and don't treat it like a regular weapon, treat it like a special tool, I would say that I'd say that you'd have a pretty good time. I'd say that it'd be pretty good. Yeah. Oh, goodness. Oh, that's pretty much it, though. Again, if you enjoyed today's video, go ahead and jump over, hit like, subscribe to the channel. Also, again, consider becoming a member. All of that stuff is very good. You guys continue to help out with the videos, and I deeply appreciate that. I'm gonna go for now. Please let me know what you think down in the comments below, and I will see you next time. Bye!